Hi, my name is Tina Stasiak, and I would like to talk to you today about integrity versus despair, finding purpose in this life and hope in the next. I interviewed Elle recently as we sat with a friend who was dying of cancer in the hospice ward. I knew from past conversations that she had a very disruptive and damaging early life, and I wanted to get a sense of what role faith had played in her ability to endure, heal, find joy, and hope. Although I was surprised and saddened by her answers, I found her to be charming and kind. She engages with the hospice staff, but complains about the service. She was well-dressed and well-traveled. Her daughter and son-in-law take her with them on vacations and bought her a house and a car. She recently received an inheritance from her first husband when he passed away and is able to frequently take guided bus trips to various places, spend time with her grandchildren, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-grandchild, siblings, and friends. My alternate impression of Elle was a woman who moved from one circumstance where she had limited power and pain to another. Her faith is simple. She believes in Jesus and holds out hope for better circumstances in the next world. Although she feels helpless, she also wishes she had made better choices. She spends what she describes as a lot of time both wishing things had been different and fantasizing about how her life could have been better. Elle was raised in church. She is an 85-year-old lady, self-described as a survivor. She was born into a family of immigrant farmers, an older brother who was 10 at the time of her birth, and an older sister who was 5, and 2 younger siblings. Her mother had complications after giving birth to her, and so the family hired a nurse to come and help with the children. The father and nurse ran away together when Elle was just over a year old, and the mother a couple months pregnant with another baby. The father and nurse took the oldest boy with them when they left. The mother struggled to keep the farm for a few years, but crop failures and lack of workforce eventually caused foreclosure. The mother, unable to find work with 3 young girls, was forced to give up her 2 youngest children. The church helped by arranging foster care, where both younger girls were sexually and physically abused by a pastor who was their foster father, and emotionally and physically neglected by the mother, their foster mother. Eventually, they were returned to their mother when she married again. Elle was 10 at the time. The family stopped attending church at this point, but the mother instilled faith and maintained Bible reading in the home. Elle was sexually promiscuous as a teenager. At age 15, she ran off with the first man who paid attention to her. He was physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive throughout their marriage, used religion as a weapon against her. She had broken bones and suffered from internal injuries. Although, like so many others, they attended church and were active in the community. They had 4 children. She left him when the youngest graduated from high school. She married one of his best friends, a widower, who turned out to be controlling and financially and emotionally abusive. She lived with him until he passed away 10 years ago. She now lives on her own. She is close with her 3 children. 3 of her 4 children. She has 12 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. She enjoys social events at the local seniors drop-in center, playing cards, dancing, crafts, crib tournaments. She attends church with her daughter and son-in-law. She does not participate in any other volunteer activities outside of driving friends to and from appointments. She states that she is not good at anything and not good for anything. So, Elle has a lot of blessings that she misses out on. She also deeply regrets the choices she made in life. She believes that her life would have been easier if she had not been abandoned by her father, given up by her mother, abused by her foster father, allowed boys to use her as a teen, dropped out of school at grade 9, been beaten and abused by both husbands, and tied down with 4 children. She blames this on social obligations, part on the ability of men to do whatever they please, and the part on the church which sets women up to fail in life. She attends church because she feels it's the right thing to do. Although she frequently thinks about the what-ifs in life, she holds little hope for the future beyond a new life in heaven. So Erik Erikson's 8th psychological stage, integrity versus despair, to view one's life as satisfactory and worth living, Kayla Kavanaugh, 2016. Kayla and Kavanaugh point to doing a life review as part of the process of finding integrity. I think that you must also find purpose in your pain, find hope for the future, and find peace with the past. Without faith, a person reaches a place of integrity or despair as they seek to come to terms with the choices and events that made their life unique. Kayla Kavanaugh, 2016. A person without faith at the end of the life looks to affirm their worth through their actions, choices, and what they will leave behind. Their success in this will determine integrity or despair. A person of faith, at the end of their earthly life, no matter the outcome and pain of their life, has hope for heaven and for God to say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," Matthew 25:21. Their integrity is predetermined, but they may still live here in despair, an emotional and spiritual infant. Christians are not immune to despair. Elle lives her life in despair. Her only hope appears to be for the next life. But in focusing on the past and even the beautiful future that all of God's children are promised, she misses out on the present. In seeing all the negative repercussions for her life events, she's missing the joy and blessings that God has recycled from her painful past. Stephen Diamond states that the patient suffering from clinical despair is deeply discouraged about the world and their ability to create the kind of life they desire. Psychology Today, 2011. Scazzaro says that emotionally healthy spirituality is about reality, not denial or illusion. It's about embracing God's choice to birth us into a particular family in a particular place at a particular moment in history. Still, hope remains for Elle and others. And this, I believe, is where God's mercy and grace prevail. Elle, without faith, may be stuck in despair that Erickson points to. With faith, her despair is focused solely on this life, and her hope remains in peace, joy, and ease of her suffering in the next. Likely this will entail someone to walk beside her and help her see that perhaps she has focused on her grief for too long. Minerth, 2004, shares that choices are the hinges of destiny. Elle needs to choose to heal and find a new identity in Christ. Christians need to be taught and deliberately choose to see that what some people mean for evil, God meant it for good in order to bring it about as it is this day to save many people alive. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have a great day.